Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Just A Sec podcast, where we're trying a new format to where you actually can see who is talking for once, which can be very bad, very dangerous, but pretty entertaining at the same time. With me, I have, as usual, Emeraldus. Would you say hi?
Hello.
And yeah, we might have more people joining later on, but currently, this is the crew that is kind of the perpetual of this podcast, it seems like.
Yes.
So, yeah, today's general topics that we're going to probably be going over a little bit is Nightingale. Full release has been done, and we got a little bit of playtime in it, as well as some Skull and Bones late game. I don't really have anything written down. Probably would have been smart if I would have, to where I actually have talking points or whatnot. But, this is still episode 2 per technically. And so yeah, we'll just figure stuff out and maybe do talking points and other episodes in the future on to where we actually know what the fuck we're talking about instead of just rambling on.
I'm just gonna say it. We never planned this, so it's never smart moves.
Yeah, it'd be smart to plan stuff at times, but other times we're just sitting there. It's like, well, when you plan too much, you usually don't have time to talk about everything you want to talk about.
hmm
Because like we could also talk about experiences we had in the day and everything when we don't plan stuff out, or like funny encounters that we had throughout the week. Versus if we plan a bunch of stuff out, we might not have enough time because, like I said, I would like to limit this to a maximum of 2 hours for a podcast.
Oh yeah. I
And
mean, it's still sad that we lost those other episodes because the bullshit was real, like the alcohol talks and the food, all
yeah,
gone. So sad.
but hey, if I ever can somehow find any form of media of it, might be part of a random debauchery stream or something like that, or debauchery video, I guess.
Yeah, true.
No one will just hear me, and there'll just be random moments where there's no talking.
Just the randomness, you know.
All the random.
hmm
So, which topic would you like to go into first, the Nightingale or Skull and Bones?
Let's start with Skull and Bones, just to get that off the table here.
All right, so we played a lot of it. We have officially reached what would be deemed currently as end game content. What are your thoughts of what the end game content is producing, as well as do you think that is enough to keep you latched on if, let's say, the season one wasn't coming out like today or tomorrow or the next day?
Well, I will say if it wasn't for I just love shenanigans, it probably would be boring. I would admit to that. But for me, I enjoy doing what we've been doing, even though like there isn't a ton. And we've had this conversation, of course, even when we play. There isn't a lot of content, but this could easily be a lot like GTA, where it starts off poorly and gets better. And I can even use Dungeon Defenders because when Dungeon Defenders came out, that game had no content. And now it has so much, right?
Yeah.
Um but for myself, I would still give it an 8 out of 10. But yeah, like it's I don't like staying on it too much now. Like I enjoy when we do our runs and everything, but because there isn't much left to do, up to doing like some daily things, it's more just like, hey, let's go kill some things on the high sea and do this shipment and then let's go and do something else. But
Yeah,
again, it's definitely not on my off list.
I mean, my thing about it is I definitely see the grind people are doing right now. So if you haven't been looking at or seeing a lot of things pop up on YouTube about it at all, a lot of people are literally grinding out as many of the pieces of eight as possible because, like a lot of people, they're worried about like not dumping anything into upgrading facilities because it says 1 day left, and they don't know if that actually is going to reset because you don't know if it resets right now. Any progress you made might be lost. But also, I've been seeing where people are getting all the um, distributions around the first area and expanding into the other areas that cost 5,000 pieces of eight just to unlock. And these people are racking in so much money to where, like, they're ready, like they've already got level 12 ships and everything, and just are dominating the majority of things because not much can compete of them. Like even that ship that we looked at that is in there that costs
Mhm.
5,000 pieces of 8. Oh my lord, it is such a fucking beast. Like
Oh yeah.
you put any fire weapons on it and it does stupid fucking damage to anything.
Yeah, but do you remember that one player that we bumped into that actually killed some of those legendaries where their ship looked like a fucking ghost ship too?
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not fucking with you. Just so you know. You're good.
I
You're
mean,
good.
even the developers have came out and said they're looking at ideas for PvP, and I'm kind of hoping that they take the community's thoughts because apparently the community have been thinking a lot like us. That they
Hmm.
designate the open sea for PvP. Don't designate anything besides that.
Yeah.
Because realistically, where do pirates loot? Where do pirates go after ships?
Open sea. And of
They
course the
don't
open
do it near port.
and open sea is also already so much of like anyone who can get like I could see a lady getting seasick with this game, counting I've played another game with her. And that like those waves are vicious, and of course the rogue waves also can kind of f up your game, but
Oh god, imagine
it's
getting torn sailed when a rogue wave comes.
and it hits you on the side, so
Oh
it just
yeah.
finishes
And
you.
you're already
Oh,
damaged.
it, it's so entertaining to the mind as like all the stuff that can go like chaotically wrong in the open seas, because we were fighting a legendary, wasn't it, in the open sea, which was we managed, but it was still like, holy crap, this is just not working for us. Because again, the like with the giant waves and stuff, it really messes up with your gun shots and too, and it's great. Like I love it, but for like PvP to be there, it would one be a challenge, and two, it would make the open sea just that much more dangerous and more fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I'm not going to judge it harshly based on the lack of content it has as well. And I
Hmm.
love the boat play that it gives you. Because
Oh
to
yeah,
me,
100%.
like, I played Sea of Thieves. And I never cared for it too much. It felt way too childish to me, kind of. Because you
Yeah,
never, like, the big thing I've always talked to people about when they compare that to this is actual, like, how fighting on the seas was, minus, like, being able to instantly repair.
yeah, and our
It's like,
characters look rough.
yeah, you have to be smart when you're fighting. Like, prime example, I literally fought a 2-on-1 for the majority of a battle, and I nearly sank 2 ships because I was playing it smart versus they only almost sank me once.
Yeah.
Now, of course, shenanigans happened to where you weren't able to help me because the game crashed on you.
Yeah, perfect timing, of course, right? Because I
Right,
got in, I did a
right when you
couple of
got into the
shots, and
fray.
then I went, whoop, yep. And then I was gone. I was like, huh, well, there was my game. Hello, goodbye.
But it's just like one of those moments like I could have if I would have had you even for just a little bit longer, one of them would have been gone and then me and you could have teamed up on the other one and I would have just continued.
Yes, because like I said, I stayed out of there so you would get the points. I was just gonna back up because I remember the first time you took the one port, you had someone attacking you, and I stayed out because again, we don't like. There's one thing if we're bullying NPCs, but I mean it's another player. And I knew you'd be fine. If you asked for help, then I would step in. But then this player, but these two were 100% working together. And I was like, well, if they're going to play like that, I'm in. But unfortunately, my computer hated me.
Yeah, that's
But
honestly the only downside. I it, th- that's something I do wish would happen that if you're in a party and you go into an area like that, you shouldn't allow or they shouldn't allow your ally to be able to join that same event.
yeah,
Because I also thought about it, there are some events that have a maximum of 3. So what would
yeah,
stop it if me, you, and Whiskey were in a game, all 3 of us sign up and just one of us goes? No one else can join the event.
yeah.
And then another situation. Okay, let's say you can have 4 people in that event. All 3 of us join, and let's say we let Whiskey have it. Me and you sit on the outskirts, so when that fourth person comes in, we just keep shooting the fuck out of him and knocking him out.
Yeah.
It's like it's
But
so
like,
easy to control because you're in a party.
mm-hmm. But again, like, the content is still low. And, and for the price, I like again, I always stick on that price. That price was pretty stingy, but I am trying to keep a positive mind that it's gonna come round, especially because I am still enjoying it. I'm happy I spent the money I did, but again,
Yeah, because we almost
I'm
have,
hoping.
if we go by the hour per dollar, we're over halfway.
Yeah, because like I said, it cost me $130, and I definitely normally would never spend that much unless it was a game that I truly, truly love. I stick with that theory.
Like Honey Pop.
Yes, like Honey Pop. Yes. But I guess where I kind of sit with it too is like when you talked about like Sea of Thieves. I remember when that game came out. I looked at it and just like what you said, I was never interested because I don't normally go for children like games. And it did not, even though I was interested in the whole pirate theme, I didn't like how it came off, and it just, I never bothered with it.
Yeah, because it's just like, oh, well, you can man this ship and everything, and go out on the seas, and you can fight players, but nothing else really, because nothing else really sells the seas. Every now and then you'll find
Yeah.
a random NPC one, or and then you can go to islands and go attack the islands. It's like, cool, I guess.
Yeah, it never caught my attention. Like I said, like the only attention it got was I heard about it, looked at it, and went, nah, I'm out.
Like it could have been a fantastic game, but it
Oh
wasn't.
yeah. Yes.
But I mean, I am very hopeful, especially due to the fact of like how Ubisoft usually does their seasons and everything. That this is gonna, like, I think once we see what season one is about, it's gonna tell us what to expect in the future.
I want to fight the legendaries. I'm like literally oozing for that because I want to see what that's like.
Well,
Even like getting the ghost ship, we have to go and start doing that sooner or later.
I think the smart thing to do would be to
I
go
know.
ahead and get those like
I know.
top tier weapons, and then we do that.
Oh, I know. I wasn't saying like right now, Dina. Let's
And
go
we have
right
to
now.
have at least 3 people.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
Because I've been sneak peeked to some of those fights due to I think Russian Badger or Norden. I
Okay.
think it was Norden. Um, yeah, at our level, it took 6 people to take down the ghost ship.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't saying right now, but I was just saying is I do I can't wait to do that. But again, I do want better weapons and I do want a better ship. Because the better we're at, the easier things can kind of get.
Yeah, because we're
And
both
don't get
at like what
we're level 9.
2,000.
Yeah, like we're level 9 because of the ship we moved to, but the ship that we were on we're like level 11, level
Well,
10,
no,
11.
we were level 10 on the other ship,
Oh, I was 11. I think I was one level higher than you.
maybe.
But I think you changed a gun, so you might be 11 now. Who knows? But the thing about it too was some of those ships just didn't deal with certain things. It was why we downgraded because our one ship just did not have hull. It just could not carry anything, which made doing any type of mission, especially like when were doing the pieces of eight ones, we want to collect as much as we can while getting our pieces of eight. So the ship just was not doing it for us. Mind you, the glitch this morning, it can go to hell.
Yeah,
Literally cross that map twice to get that mission in because did some weird shit.
Yeah, I wasn't too excited about that either. Having to
But
go through
it
that,
worked out.
having to go to a spot, and it's like, oh no, the spot you're supposed to go is on the opposite side of the fucking map.
Yes, and I know you already drove like 8,000 miles. Well, yeah, here's some more. Now it's over 20. We're like, F you. But it didn't go so bad, so can't fully complain. Now then, Nightingale.
All right, you want to go first for me?
Um, you can go first this time.
So Nightingale did its full drop of the game. Uh, I
It's
don't remember what
20th,
day. Yeah, the 20th.
20th. Yeah.
And we have played it. I don't think we have a whole heaping amount of hours into it. I think we were only sitting at like 4 or 5, maybe.
We are sitting, if my mouse wakes up, uh, 4.4 hours.
Okay, so yeah, about 4 or 5. I was actually close, surprisingly.
You're very close.
Um, it is a wonderful game. I am so excited to play it more. It's just, I think right now it's peer to peer, and that can be a major downfall because it relies on internet, the host and everything to last. And with how shoddy my internet has even been at times here recently for some fucking reason, it's more problematic than anything. But like I have absolutely fallen in love with the game. It is very much like a Valheim into what game did you say? It's Valheim and what?
Forest, the
Yeah, the
forest.
forest, because it has really beautiful graphics, but the feel of Valheim to where like you have to be ready for this next area. Because if you're not,
Yep.
oh man, your shit's gonna get pushed in.
Oh
As
yeah.
as we experienced.
Oh yeah. And things spawn in like events basically, which was very like Valheim. And of course the food system worked very similar. The forest part 2 was like a lot of the building as well. It definitely had a mixture of both, in my opinion. Um, definitely so glad we have it. Now from the beta, it's so funny because when we had the beta, they gave us everything. They gave us a gun, guns. I'm guessing top outfits as well,
Not necessarily
and
top outfits.
but close
But
enough.
the big thing was they gave us the top weaponry as well as a
Yeah.
backpack that was overpowered as fuck.
Yes. And but again, their idea was to like explore the world. Don't worry about other things, right? And we did. We also got our shit kicked in very quickly, and then learned a very interesting lesson about where your stuff drops.
Yeah, because unlike some games, I have not seen actual settings for the server to where it's like, oh, make it to where you keep everything in your backpack or only tool belt or drop everything. So how
Yeah.
it plays is that you drop everything in your backpack, but you keep your inventory belt, meaning you can have your weapons like your crossbow and everything, but you ain't got no arrows or balls because those are in your backpack.
Now, if I remember
Mm.
though, when we did the beta, we dropped everything, even what was in the belt.
No, we kept our belts, but that was the issue was that we kept our guns, but we had no ammo.
Okay. I couldn't remember exactly. I just remember we came back and we had nothing, and we were just like, well, that's not gonna work.
Because that was the issue is that we wanted to continue, but due to the fact that we did not have any ammo, if you didn't like I had a knife. That was my only other weapon I had in my entire inventory.
Hmm.
So that's all I could use when we got into a fight was just a knife.
Yeah. But I
Now,
mean, it was
knowing what
kind
I
of
know
cool.
now and knowing to be smart with how I play, probably could have actually done pretty well. But
Yeah.
I don't play smart. I play stupid. I like to be amusing when I watch.
Yeah, and I kind of follow along in the same pattern. I'm like, fuck it, let's just do it. And then sometimes that does not work in our favor. But we did take out one of the bosses, so that was kind of cool. Because it was like the same one that we got messed up on originally. But we'll say though, like definitely so glad. I love how it's running. I do love um the gameplay. But then again, as you know too, I'm a big survival builder fanatic.
Yeah.
So this game is just 100% up my alley.
I mean, I am the exact same way. Am very excited to play more games like that because it's going to be it, it's nice to be able to actually play games that make you have to think. Just like I I probably should have waited. I bought Helldivers 2. I told Lucy I was going to wait till next payday, but when I went to bed, I put on someone streaming Helldivers 2, and I will say I'm going to play the fuck out of that game too.
Yeah, I
If I can
watched
get into the game.
yeah, I watched the thing for it and it did pique my interest.
I thought it
But
might.
I was like, I really just shouldn't because I already spent so much money.
I know.
So
That's why I meant the comment of like, I feel like I might be able to con him to play this game as well. I've already conned you into playing a lot of games that when I first met you, if I said anything about playing them, you'd look at me like, no.
it's not my type of game. I don't play FPSs. What are you talking about?
Like it like let's be honest, when I first met you, if I would have recommended playing a game like the finals, you would have just gave me this cold stare of like, no. Why would I play that? It's not my
Yeah,
style.
I don't play shooters. I don't play any type of shooters. I never play anything that involves like shooting games. And it's not that I'm like, oh, guns, ew, gross. It was just and I'll say because before we talked about this before. I wasn't a PC player. I was console,
Yeah.
and as the joke goes, I have very small hands, and I it's the theory, okay? Because again, like a lot of the games I had tried, because I've been with friends who are like, hey, try this, and it's a shooting game, but you got to press like certain amount of buttons, and for me, because of how my hands are, especially with some of the controllers, I can't really press all the buttons comfortably. So it kind of threw me off on actually liking shooters where it's like, okay, I got to do this, to do this, do that. And I was just like, it's not my thing. I like more of an ease.
Yeah.
And of course, the computer's much easier, of course. But again, I told you how small my fingers are, and
Yeah.
I thought I used a very good example because everybody has the beanie in the pack as well.
Yeah.
And when I'm like, your symbol is the length of my fingers. Like my my longest finger barely goes above the S. I'm like, if that doesn't tell you how short my little fingers are, I don't know what does.
Is that from like the bottom of the beanie or like right
No, right at the S. So right at the stitch.
oh, right at the stitch to the top of the S?
Yes.
Wait,
Like
are you
where
talking
you have
about
the
the bottom of the 8?
yeah. Like okay, cuz I don't know
I'm
what you
looking
got.
at it right now. Like
So
cuz
your
my
symbol,
my symbol is an S inside of an 8.
yes. So the very end, but like you feel the embroidery, right? So not the toque, it's the actual stitching.
Yeah.
The very bottom of that stitching is where I put it at my base, and then I count it to the top of when you finish the embroidery part, because the whole embroidery part does not fit my fingers.
So the top of the 8.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So it's the length of the 8.
yeah.
Okay. See, that's
I
what I
mean,
was
I can always
confused. I'm like, when you said like the
I
bottom
can
of
take
the
a
S to the
picture.
top of the S, I'm like, I'm
That's
sorry. I don't think that's humanly possible.
no, I meant like the whole embroidery part.
Okay.
But still, it's like I could always take a picture too, but yeah, like it barely fits my longest finger. I think it's like half an inch maybe above, but barely. But I mean, like my pinky doesn't even fit in there. Like I said, I have small fingers, okay? And I have 10-year-olds have bigger hands than me. It's embarrassing at some point. But then again, I still stick with it. My way of getting through it whenever someone starts kind of mocking me, I'll, especially because it's the guys who will make a joke or something like that. Because again, I hang out with a lot of guys. I just look at them and be like, I just make guys look feel bigger. And they'll shut up every single time because there's that pause and you could see them thinking about it and going, yeah.
Not untrue. I don't like that you're not untrue, but you're not untrue.
Exactly. I'm like, I have my ways to deal with it. You want to insult them? I'll just tell you something that makes you go, you know what? Actually, yeah, I would like those hands there.
But I just love Knight's comment the other day about the comparison of how you were brought into FPSs versus him.
Oh,
It's like, oh well, you had it easy because I got dropped into Modern Warfare or Call of Duty in hardcore. I'm like, yes, but you said you wanted to learn.
yeah,
M
wasn't
had
he playing it before?
he was, but he was playing with Hoth, who apparently is a very bad teacher in the FPSs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like my thing about it is like you've never straight up said you wanted to play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like you have made it very clear that like you will play certain types to get into it, but you have never outright said, "Yeah, I want to play the next Call of Duty when it releases." So I've never
Well,
had the opportunity to drop you into a competitive FPS until the finals.
yeah, and that was very quick pace right off the bat.
Yeah, so I'm just like, Knight, you've played a bit of FPS, but you wanted to get better. That's why I dumped you into that, as well as the fact that you're also a person that learns by being taught, as well as he is a bit of a masochist at times, to where he wants to get his shit pushed in to be taught how to do better.
Isn't that how we all kind of are? If anything, I'm pretty sure I show those colors as well, where I'm like, just throw me in and see what happens.
Yes, but there's a difference. I can't do that to you in Call of Duty because I know you will never play it again. If I went full Yeehard NASCAR and Call of Duty against you, you would never pick that up again. You would feel so disheartened from playing it.
Be like, okay.
Because I used to play those games competitively.
Yes.
So that's why I don't do it unless someone directly asks. And even then, I'm like, are you sure? Do you want me to handicap myself?
Yes. And I do remember when I kind of was learning with you and he was just getting his shit kicked in. I remember those days as well. And, you know, like I said, I'm impressed with how much I picked up the finals. Am
Yeah,
I still trying to improve? Yes. Because I'm still technically, even though it's been just over a month, I'm still very new because we're not playing every single day.
yeah,
So it's still a learning process. And then the worst part too is I can't play for long periods of time because of my condition. I find that I overwork myself up
yeah,
because again, you know, the excitement slash like when we're getting our shit kicked in, and I go yeehar NASCAR where I'm concentrating, my heart doesn't can't keep up with me right now. So I do kind of stick back a bit. Now when I'm better,
Hmm. When you're
it might be
better, I am going to throw you into Call of Duty. I
you're
hope
not
you're
even giving
ready.
me a choice.
No, whatever competitive FPS we're playing at that time, I will buy the game for you if I have to, and I'm throwing your ass in it. And me and you will have our first ever 1v1.
Okay.
And I'm kind of excited, and I'm kind of worried about the first encounter of that.
On
Granted, I,
which levels? I'm curious. Why are you worried?
one, I'm worried because it very well could turn you off of playing FPSs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had that happen before to where, someone was said, like when I ran my clan on Halo 3 slash Halo Reach. One of the people that was in the clan, I hated his guts because of how he acted to me towards times, but he challenged me for my spot as clan leader. And that was something I made very open to people that were in my clan was I'm not guaranteed to be lead. If anyone thinks that they can run the group better than me, you can challenge me, and if you win, you can take over.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was only two people I was ever worried about. If they got fed up with how I play, they would take over. But we all, the three of us, were such good friends, and we respected each other enough to where we never attempted that. That was
Yeah.
me, Enlight, and another guy. He ended up becoming number 2 player on MLG leaderboards, even.
Oh wow.
But we all had so much fun together that we never challenged each other. They were actually part of what we called Ghost Squadron, which was led by me because I was very well designing tactics.
Yeah.
And that carries over to a lot of games I play, even.
Mhm.
That's why some games we play, like Skull and Bones, instead of saying, hey, start turning right, I say shift right.
Yeah.
Just because that is ingrained in my thought to say shift right, and you have came to terms of understanding what that means, so you know, oh, I need to start turning right.
Oh yeah. I picked it up quite quickly.
And that's kind of ingrained into me, and so none of them challenged me on that, but this one motherfucker decided to challenge me, and I pushed his shit in so fucking hard because I bullshit when I play.
Yeah.
I very rarely play to actually win until I get mad.
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen that.
And Light told me after that that's the first time he's seen me truly try, and it made him question if he could beat me if I truly tried.
Mhm.
Because I was doing everything in my power to make that gap between me and him kill wise, because it was first to 25. I did
Yeah.
everything in my power to make it to where he did not go above 5. I killed him 25 times versus his 4 times on me.
Huh.
And this guy was not bad. He had to because we had a thing to join, you had to face one of my 4 in command or me, and then we voted on it afterwards based on how the thing went. So, put it plainly simple. If you were around when I played competitively and you wanted to join the group I was in, you had to challenge one of Ghost Squad basically, and there had to be at least 2 people present that was part of Ghost Squad that wasn't in the actual challenge to observe.
Mhm.
And then after that, all 3 people then meet with the other 2 to talk about it and discuss if we felt that they deserved to join and say things that they could improve on, things that they excelled in, and everything. And then after that, you were either let in or you were denied. So he
Yeah.
got through that gauntlet. And then to throw it all away because he said I did not deserve my title. I don't understand why he said I didn't deserve it. Everyone else in the group felt I deserved it. I felt like at that point. So him to challenge me kind of bewildered people because he was actually Enlight's friend, and he told me later on he was sorry he brought someone like that into the group. I said I expected it at some point, but after he challenged me, he left the group, and actually, from what I understand, he's not played an FPS since because he was so disheartened by it.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I don't I don't like being the reason people stop playing a game type.
Yeah.
So I would not like to like make you feel so bad. That's why realistically, if we were to face an FPS after you get back and everything, I would handicap myself as well.
Mhm.
Now I don't know what the handicap is because apparently when I handicap people, I actually embarrass people more than anything. Because I remember Knight told me how it made him feel when I used just a pistol and he was able to use anything.
Yeah, I remember he was talking about that.
But I also tell him it's like, don't take it to heart because this is my forte. This is
Yeah.
what I used to do to have to challenge myself. So
Mhm.
to get upset by it is kind of not really a good idea because, like I told him, he can improve still. I cannot. I'm degrading. I've hit that plateau because of my age. It's very common, especially FPSs. Like, it's very hard to actually get better once you hit, I think they said, like, the average cutoff age of most people is 28 in FPSs. It's just like hockey, even. It's very uncommon once someone hits 24 if they haven't already been drafted by a team to get on a professional hockey team.
Yeah.
Just because you're already past your what is considered your prime. Because prime in gaming, as sad as it is age 14 to 22. Those are the prime years of game. That's usually when people can get better or excel in certain categories and like really take in info that they're given. That's why like I pushed so hard all night because he was still in that threshold to where he could like just suck in all the information and actually learn from it and get better. And that's why looking at him now, he is, I would say, 1,000 times better than when he first started.
Yeah.
Like I'm very happy and proud of how he has became in the FPSs. He puts himself down just like anyone else would at times because you have a bad game. You're like, sorry, I sucked that game, guys. I even do
Oh, I
that
do the
still.
same. I do that too. Yeah.
But he has also gotten kind of that mentality that I've tried to ingrain into him to not let it put him down.
Mhm.
Because it's like, that feeling you got from getting your shit pushed in? Take that feeling into the next game and do the same thing to those guys.
Yeah.
Because that's how I kind of was brought into gaming. Because when I used to play with people, that's one of the first things they taught me when I started playing Call of Duty with some of these guys is that don't let the last game judge what you do in this next game because it's a bunch of different people that you never played against, maybe. And if you got your shite pushed in, push theirs in. Make it to where they want to turn their Xbox off that night.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds.
No, it makes sense. It's just like because remember I played a lot of MMOs back then too when even when I first met you and even like with guilds and stuff that you were like talking about. I get like the theories behind it as well, especially if you're building teams and stuff. And also like even for night, like learning those skills is a good thing. I've never had a problem with that theory behind any type of game because all games, especially if it's a squad game where you need to rely on people, you need people to know what they're doing. They need to know the skill set they need for the items that they're doing as well.
Yeah.
Um, I know for me, I like because I played WoW and then I played Star Wars, and WoW I was known for being an elitist healer, but Star Wars I wasn't just the elite healer. I was the healer. I was because there was these scoreboard things. I hated it because especially in those type of games too. I don't know about like what the FPS is. You had to plug in into like an online thing that registered all your DPS heals and everything else. But this program that was with this the Star Wars also had like leaderboards, which would then tell people who's the best in the realm, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like the one a group that I was joining, my friend, the other guy that I knew from Tennessee, he he told these guys that I was like the best healer he's ever known. These guys were like, "There's no fucking way." So they thought they would be an asshole and try to get me to do a raid. So this is how much they wanted to challenge me. They never expected what happened. By the way, um, so there's a raid. It's a 10-person raid. All right.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about MMOs, you at least need in those type of things, you need 2 healers, 2 tanks, and then a shit ton of DPS, right?
Yeah, you need to be very smart about how you play it because you, when you do raids specifically, you plan that shit out days in advance, if not
Oh yeah,
weeks.
oh yeah. So this guy, who was the leader of this, like one of the top, I don't think we were the top guild at the moment when I joined him. Um, he decided he wanted to see how well I could hold off. So we would go into this raid with 3 people, myself, him, and my friend. And he just wanted to see how I could hold on the first boss of that raid. And he's not a tank. No one was a tank. They were both DPSs. They were both commandos. They were the and I was a smuggler healer. And went in, and of course, just like as we always talk about, we'll always be the ones who are the hardest critics to ourselves, right?
Yeah,
And it wasn't like I was looking to join, but my friend, he talked me into it. And because, I've always been there for him. And he really said I needed to get out there because he's like, you are one of the best. He's like, you always join these random raids, and you're the only reason why these raids get done. And I was like, fine. So I decided to join this because at least then I could get my raids done and everything else. So I was like, fine, I'll try. Because he said, I didn't know there was a fucking joke about it, to be honest. So, like, a lot of the top end people were kind of laughing and putting bets on how far I would get them. We got to the first boss, and the boss was dead. Total fucking silence was in there, like, team speak. Because no one expected it. Because he was actually, um, he filmed it and he was talking to these guys. So he actually sent the video because he did put it on YouTube so everyone could watch what he was seeing later. People were fucking speechless because he's like, this bitch just fucking healed me right through this, like with no problem. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And so he's like, oh, well, let's do the next boss. And then we did the next boss. Then we did the next boss. And then we got to the final boss. Now, the final boss, a lot of people, like a lot of raids cannot finish because he is one of the toughest bosses. We defeated it. I legitly took 2 DPSs and got them through a raid 10 raid
yeah,
as a single healer with ease. When I say I was added to the guild within seconds, I was added to the guild within seconds. And then I was in every raid planned. I was top healer, like their number 1 pick. And then new raids came out, and I remember the last raid we had, I freaking hated the second healer because we were doing the council fight, and because that was the newest raid at the time when I was there. She would drop, so I had to pick up the pace, which meant I had to heal everyone. And in that fight, it was one of the worst fucking fights you could actually have one healer, because the damage isn't just on tanks, it's on everyone.
yeah,
So I'm just doing what I can do. And the very final phase of that fight is because it's literally the council in because I think it's five enemies. They all stand in the middle, and it's literally massive damage. And if someone drops, the damage multiplies. Now, at that point, it got way too fucking hard. Everyone started dropping because again, I was healing by myself. There's nothing I can really do. Got to the end, it was just 2 of us left. He dropped, and we were so close. And I just said, "Fuck it." So I threw some stuff, and I kept healing myself because he still had some of the you know damage over time. He dropped, and people were just fucking speechless. Now, then somebody on who wasn't in the raid said, "Look at the leaderboard," and I ended up being number 1 healer in all realms for that fight. So I
nice.
became number 1 healer that day. And I was like, I never want to feel that again. That's all that went through my mind. I was like,
I don't want
fuck.
this stress anymore.
Yeah, that guild was very stressful though, because again, a lot of expectations. Even though I knew what I was doing, I didn't like being bossed around the way I was. And again, there was things that started happening, so then I left the game. And as you know, we did kind of try to go back into it, but my love for it's kind of broken. I mean, you were there actually, because when we played, I told you because somebody messaged me. I didn't know who they were, and they called me a traitor, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. So that game's dead.
Oh, and Swator?
Yeah, but then again, it was fun when it was, but I just don't like MMOs anymore on the sense of you have to basically play it every single day.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm glad that I'm not in them anymore. They're
I
fun, but
I
they
just
are so consuming.
all I did was convert you to a game that makes you want to play every day. And
Yes.
sometimes you play too much every day.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. but but yeah, no, like I said, like I remember those, and I get why, like being, like I said, like being in that situation, which is different from like like those, like I get why people will do it at times, but for someone like me now, after being in those type of guilds and stuff, I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. So I'm good with just dicking around and not giving a damn.
Yeah, I feel that because I as someone who used to actually run a clan and everything, I'm just to the point. I'm like, you know, it was fun. I ain't gonna do that again. That was
Right?
way too much fucking stress that I had on me for no fucking reasons besides the fact that it's like, hey, I'm gonna have fun doing this, and I did have fun at times, but other times it was just like, can I just quit?
Because let me guess, you also had to deal with the drama of people.
Oh yeah, I banned more people than I ever had in my clan
uh, oh,
because
see that, like I said, like just can't deal with that shit.
like the amount of people that would come in, we would deny. Oh, you're just denying me because I'm better than you. It's like, what? We literally. It's like I didn't even stomp your ass. My fourth in command did. Do you think if my fourth command stomped your ass, I couldn't?
Yeah.
Like the sheer amount of people that would come in and cry about how, oh, you just don't want me in your clan because you know I'll do better. It's like, please try me. And then one of my buddies would be like, please don't. We don't want to have to deal with this anymore. Just go ahead and accept that you lost and just move on with your life.
Yep. It's just like those people, like the keyboard warriors, and I know I keep on saying like the Viola Dirt, like game stuff and whatnot. And there's that one that it leaves a mark because it reminds me of freaking players where you'll be like, again, like a raid or something like that, where you need every player to hold their fucking asses and, you know, keep up with everybody. And they'll be like, oh, well, I can do your job. Your job's so easy. And then you get the whole like, oh, you want to bet? Okay, you fucking try it. And then they realize how fucking hard it is.
Yeah, that's the best part. They're like, "Oh, I could do that." It's like, "Really? Do it."
Yeah,
Well, you know I would, but and it's like,
but
"Ah, yeah." So the second I actually let you have free reign to actually show me how to do it better, and you're not able to, it's just bought.
oh yeah, it's the whole like people who go, "Oh, I can do it. Your job is so easy." I'm like, "Okay, then you fucking heal." And then they're like, I'm like, "Yeah, no." Healing, tanking, like in those type of games, they have their own thing. DPS, it is just straight damage. And I mean, I like playing DPS, but I've always been into support.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been extremely good because even when I played a League of Legends, I was one hell of a support player. And I mean, the only other character I played was Jinx, which was my go-to DPS. And then I played other like gun-styled DPSs as well because I liked long range, but because I was never good with the melee.
Yeah.
But again, I knew what I was good at and I stuck with it. And in my teams that I played with, my friends were always better at DPS or melee kind of things. So I would always stay as the support because that's where I shine. But it's like know your place, and you know what? Don't fuck with other people because it's just like if I were telling someone who's DPS, how to do their job, and then they tell me to do it, and same team, I could get my shit kicked in too. It's it's not always as easy as it seems.
Well, that's the downside of it, is that people don't, they want to be acknowledged that they could do it, but they don't want to put forth the effort.
Hmm.
Because it's just like one of my prime examples of it, when I used to play competitive. Ideally, whenever we had battles, it would be Ghost Squad versus whoever we fought.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the people that was part of one of my captain squads was like, "Well, why don't we get a fight?" I'm like, "Well, you're welcome to fight people and everything." They're like, "Well, I want to do it with this squad." I'm like, "Okay, well, who's gonna be your lead?" And he's like, "I will." I'm like, "That goes against the protocol of the group that I made." They're like, "Well, I don't care. I want to fight them." And I said, "Well, you can fight them. You're just not gonna fight them underneath my banner." Like, well, fine. And he went and fought him, and then I managed to message the other people, because ideally what happens when you have those battles, both sides are supposed to record it, so that way when if anything sketchy happens, both sides post their video feed to show nothing sketchy happened.
Yeah.
My side didn't do that, but I told them later on, I said, you don't have to count that because they didn't do it under my banner because I did not allow it. And the people that they challenged were like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "But can I get the video feed from y'all to see how they did?" They're like, "Oh yeah, sure." And they sent me the footage and everything, and I saw it. And like the guy that said he could lead, oh my Lanta,
Just cringe, right?
he was running into battle and just yelled, "Follow me." It's like, no, no, no. You're supposed to designate positions. It's just like when me, Lucy, and whoever else joins us plays 0 hour Ready or Not.
Hmm.
Lucy wants to become more strategic, wants to be more of a lead at times. So I'm like, okay, fine, you lead. He's like, well, I don't know
That's
how to. I'm like, that's fine. Just if you have questions, ask. I will give you my honest feedback. I said, but I want you to lead. That's the
yeah,
only way to learn. And he has gotten a lot better at it. But the
yeah.
only
I
thing
remember
he
being there.
yeah, the only thing he forgets a lot of times is to call forth the back of the line.
Yeah.
So like when I push up, I'll say fall in to make the guy in the back push forward to me, cover the back where we're at currently, and then I'll say moving forward and go forward from there. That's the
Hmm.
only part he lacks in still, but he is learning. He is doing something I'm so proud of anyone to actually that wants to take up that mantle. He is learning. He's taking the criticism without it being like an insult. Just like
Yeah, he's
Knight
not
when
taking
Knight
it
wanted to
hard.
learn.
Yeah, because that's the thing when you're learning stuff. Because even when I started playing the finals with you guys, I was expecting some hard critiques and stuff like that, but I didn't get that from you for whatever reason. Don't know why.
Well, the only reason I didn't hard critique you is because one, we were playing it for fun. We weren't
Yeah,
you
true
you
enough.
never said to me you wanted to play this as the gateway to FPSs.
Yeah.
And also, you never directly asked for input besides like weaponry and everything.
Hmm.
And that, when I gave you weaponry input, I was very critiquing of it.
Yes.
Because I had mentioned when I was watching you play, when I died in that game and everything, that like you aren't even aiming down sights sometimes. And that if you aim down sights sometimes, it will improve like your ability to hit things. And ever since then, I've noticed you are aiming down sights a lot more and you are killing a lot more.
Yeah, I also found the gun that I really like.
Well, that's also another thing. You saw me using the pistol, and due to I seeing how you played and everything, I even suggested the pistol to you, even though you're already interested in it.
Hmm.
It's just like the sword with Knight as well as Squirrel. Like when they were using the sword, oh well, this ain't working out too well. It's like you gotta be right up on them, and you start crouch spamming as well as juking around their body to stay out of their line of sight. And
Yeah.
when I said that, Knight and Squirrel were getting a lot of kills.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I just thought of a horrible, horrible fucking team to face off against now. Lights with the cloaking device with swords. Three of them.
Oh, all three of them.
They just murk heavies.
Oh yeah.
Because if you have two of them against one heavy, the heavy can't kill them both.
No, true
Even
enough.
even with the sledgehammer.
Fucking sledgehammer death. I'm still impressed that I had that one game where you and I literally equaled out. Like that was wild
Not
to
just
me.
in kills and assists too. The only
Yeah.
thing we would have equaled out in deaths if you didn't sacrifice yourself at the end either.
Yeah, I just went balls deep at the end. And I think like I revived a few more times for someone or something like that, but up to that we were literally equal, which was wild to me. And that to me was like a good one for me. Because I was like, I kept up with Dino.
It's like I did my part and I'm happy.
Yes. But again, I'm trying not to like I've been playing completely on the level of just shitting around and having fun. Try not to over get too into it because again, as we said, like my heart can't handle it right now. So
Yeah.
I am being careful.
Which I'm perfectly okay with. It's not like I'm gonna push you, you know that.
Oh, I know. And it's been good. It's been fine.
We've been having fun doing it nonetheless.
Yes.
That's why we're
Yes, we
not gonna
have.
put you in a Helldivers just yet. Just cause I don't know if you're ready for Helldiver quality gameplay yet. With your heart at least.
See, yeah, that's the thing too. Like any game that can get like really intense, like it's such a shitty situation for me for that, just because I can't get overly excited. I can't get angry. I have to stay in that weird mellow spot, which isn't very easy either.
Yeah.
And it's it does affect some of the games that I play because of that as well. It's why like I've been playing a lot of the more chill games that I have just for the sake of not getting myself stressed or overthinking stuff, right?
Yeah. Because
But I've also been good where hmm?
I was saying because you don't want to ever have that moment where something does happen.
Oh yeah, for because it would be like, "Huh, why are you in the hospital today? I was playing a video game, got really into it. Now my heart hurts."
Like what?
Yeah, they'd be like, "What the fuck were you doing now?"
I was playing Honey Pop on the last level. Okay.
I got really thorny, and that's what happens. Okay.
Don't act like you ain't done it no more. I saw what you watched on your fucking phone. That hentai.
That hentai was hot. Now I had a heart attack. Uh, yeah, I can't wait for that surgery. I just want to get back to normal. I don't like this mellow lifestyle. It's weird. It's so weird.
But you can
But
be
yeah.
mellow yellow.
Oh, I'm gonna smack you so much when I see you.
Yeah, I already anticipated that. I'm still
I
gonna
feel
make
like
the
I'm
jokes
just.
in person.
I know you are, and I'm still gonna hit you on it. But then you'll also see me laughing and smiling, so
Yeah.
I'm not taking it to fucking heart.
Or are you? Maybe
I
it's a
don't know.
facade.
It's totally a facade. You're gonna
I
see me, and I'm just gonna like actually be really pissed off the
I
whole time.
knew it.
You knew. God damn you! Go to my bedroom now.
Okay. All right, but I think this is a good place to end the podcast. A little bit of a shorter one, but we do need to catch up on our rest because we've had a lot of nights of I did a nice little 12-hour stream yesterday, and then I had
Yes.
to wake up early because I had to go cook some really really good food.
Oh,
And someone is
so
not extremely
jelly.
jealous of the food I had last night or this morning.
Jelly. So jelly of both, yes. So jelly.
So, thank you all for coming out joining the podcast. If everything goes right, dun, 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 news that M doesn't even know about should be on Spotify. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, it should be on YouTube as well as Spotify if everything goes well. If not, then just ignore that last part and I'll just make sure that it's never ever brought up again.
The sadness, the tears.
Well, no tears. It's just it is a little bit of a process. But
Yeah.
yeah, we do these podcasts every Sunday. They post on every well, at this point they're going to be posted every Monday. So, yeah. Do you have anything else to add to this recording, Em?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out, joining us, and we'll catch you all on the next recording of Just A Sec. Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.